They would have you believe in the media and in our Senate that maybe an energy bill is still coming. Axios had the scoop. Manchin's bipartisan energy talks have now crumbled, which leads the way for a Democrat-only deal via reconciliation. Apparently, yes, those bipartisan talks had totally been happening and were totally serious. Those are now over. Republican senators are now convinced that Manchin is close to some sort of deal with Chuck Schumer. Senator Kevin Cramer said these talks had been a long shot to begin with. Manchin informed us in the last meeting that reconciliation is probably the route he's going down. We do not have any meetings scheduled that I know of, not at this point. So something could happen on energy, but not just on energy. Apparently, Chuck Schumer is attempting to get Manchin on board with both climate change and lower prescription drug price proposals, but GOP lawmakers are trying to divert his attention towards bipartisan negotiations on gun control and energy legislation, literally to keep him out of Chuck Schumer's office. Now, the fact that this is their strategy is being reported, so if Manchin cared that he was being manipulated, that he would know that and could ward it off. I love that the strategy is to waste his time with more bipartisan negotiations that won't go anywhere. All of this is admitting so much about the nonsense that is our Senate, but we're just supposed to watch it because we have no power, no influence, Brett. We're supposed to just watch this and be like, I hope they do something. What do you think?
Depending on Manchin to show any skill in negotiating an energy policy is like depending on Willy Wonka to help negotiate the Less Candy initiative. Like the guy owns coal plants. The guy's not gonna clean up the air. He has no incentive to do anything. He has every incentive to just like dumb stumble around the Senate being like, oh my God, I can't believe that disintegrated. And he's already signaled that he doesn't care what party he's in. He just wants to stay elected. And this is it's so crazy too when you think about it, because he's just sat out an entire realignment with his policies. So there's still some pockets of America where like people are Democrats. People like John Kennedy even switched at a certain point. Like John Kennedy, the guy from Louisiana who's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He was a Democrat because you just still had to be one because people were still alive who were voting for Democrats because Lincoln freed the slaves and he was a Republican. But Joe Manchin has sat out from that realignment for so long that it might come back around and he'll finally switch to being a Republican. It's nuts. In this next realignment, it finally might get him. But for energy initiatives, like he has no incentive to allow anyone to do anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, look, my only hope, like I'm trying to come up with a way to motivate myself to be enthusiastic about this or to believe that something could happen. Like let's say he's negotiating in good faith on the energy bill. Maybe they just put something in there that gives him a bunch of money. Maybe that does it. Like maybe he finds a way to make money off of this. Now that will, along with that will come much less actual progress in the other direction. I would be perfectly fine with outlaw all coal mines except his. Give him a monopoly over the whole thing, make him rich, or just buy it from him. Have the US government nationalize his coal plant for $5 billion or something. I wish we could have something like that so that we could move on as a society. But unfortunately, he's still negotiating. So best case scenario, we get a bad bill. More likely scenario, this was a waste of our time to even talk about.
Yeah, but the way that you just outlined how politics work. Like it's sad that politics works this way, but there's a bunch of stuff on the ground and there's a lot of bluster, right? You need the stuff on the ground to get people to redirect their bluster in a way where they don't feel like they're losing face and they can also be forced into acting a certain way. So I'm with you. I don't care what it takes. We just have to, and also there's undeniable facts like there are people who work in coal plants. And so we need to pave a way for them to, in line with what we've done with companies like Tesla, you weird right wingers, where we incentivize companies through government grants and investment to make moves toward a more energy independent and also green energy future. And we can do that with Joe Manchin. If we can make him do it by making it pretty and financially lucrative to him, sadly, then we have to. And I don't know if anyone's doing that because, again, another motivating factor is using stuff on the election, on the campaign trail to get votes. I just think that the headwind in that respect is public sentiment going against any hope that there will be any movement toward what people actually want their government to do.
And we have to remember that even in theory, let's say they find something that's going to get Manchin over. Well, I'm sure Sinema will just go along with all this. She won't then step to the plate to derail the whole thing.
I mean,
it is frustrating.
It won't matter if he goes where he goes, she goes. That's the actual conversation happening because right now it's 50-50. And if you get Manchin on your side, Sinema can go, do whatever paper doll cosplay she wants to do.
Yeah, I'm saying she can potentially derail the entire thing, even if Manchin were to go along with it.
How? Oh, because it just takes
by
one
not vote. Yeah, one defection would be, right. and we're focusing on those two. In theory, there could be others too.
And they'll work behind the scenes. Sorry, I got my math wrong.
Yeah, well, anyway, look, he's also Manchin's pretending that now he wants legislation to lower prescription drug prices. He's like, I'm the one who's pushing for this, as Ilhan Omar points out. He killed the bill that would have done that.
Let's just call it a Manchin bill without him.
No, seriously, let's call it the Joe Manchin lowering your drug prices bill, whatever. These people are all awful. They're just balls of coal and ego. Just give them whatever they want. God, trying to get literally anything done in this country is impossible. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.